All right, so in this video, we're going to talk about what makes a great rental property in Howard County. My last video, we talked about if you own a house, in Howard County, should you sell it or keep it as rental? So what makes a good property in Howard County and why would you want to have a rental in Howard County? So first of all, the best typical property we see is like a 3-bed, 2-bath, which is very common kind of throughout the nation. Families with kids or young professionals that can room together. But you see a lot of 3-bed, 4 beds, 2 beds, 3 baths that attract families that are looking to be here for their kids to go to Howard County schools. There's really good neighborhoods. Howard County's, especially Columbia, the planned neighborhood. There's so many amenities with all the parks and all the pools and all the soccer clubs. I'm actually a coach at one of the local soccer clubs. And so this county, this is why we moved to Howard County, is for the schools and for the community. And you'll find that in Howard County. Now, what's interesting is because of all this, the price and people want to be here, they're willing to pay a premium, and rents keep up, but they don't quite make it where you're making a lot of cash flow on rents. You can buy a 1-bed, 1-bath condo in some of the different condo communities that can be great, but you have HOA fees and that kind of stuff that still, so that takes away some of that cash flow. And so what you kind of find in Howard County is, especially when you're in Columbia and you have the Columbia Association, which can cost you extra money, but then gives you access the gyms and the pools and that kind of stuff, so that the benefit there can definitely be worth it. But that is an extra expense that maybe some tenants aren't willing to pay for, that can maybe be included in rent. And so when we look at Howard County, we look at the value of owning a property in Howard County is you're going to attract strong tenants. You're going to attract tenants that typically are going to take care of the property. And then you're looking at appreciation of that property because it just keeps getting better here. People keep wanting to move Howard County for all of those things we mentioned previously. And so that's where you kind of find that not a lot of investors come into Howard County with outside money to buy properties just as rentals. And that's why I think a lot of what we find is the best landlords are ones that lived in the house, they were here, they got transferred, and they've kept that house. I know multiple people that we manage for that still actually live in Howard County, and they moved from house A to house B, and they kept house A because it was close to high school that they still attend, and they know that they can find good tenants that have kids that want to go to high school. There's also so many, all the jobs, all the different government agencies. People are here for a short period of time. They're maybe looking to rent for a couple of years, or they look to buy, and then they keep those properties as rentals as they move out. And again, it's not really a cash flow heavy county where you're coming in to make cash on cash. And there's investors, that's all they do. So if those guys are looking to just buy rental properties, they're going to be looking in Baltimore, Catonsville, maybe Laurel, PG, DC, different areas where they can make that cash flow, and that seems to be the most important thing for them. And that's great. I think cash flow is important, but it's also about having a really nice property that's going to be taken care of by tenants that can appreciate. And so you look at those markets where, like, I'll give you an example. I bought my first rental was in a place in Utah, just outside of Ogden, which is just a little, kind of a bigger city outside, just north of Salt Lake. Not a huge city, but this area in Roy was okay, but pretty quickly, like, the main grocery store disappeared, right? And so I bought this duplex for 120,000. It was worth 120,000 for like 15 years, I swear. And then just recently, Utah's kind of blown up, and then it's gone up in value, and now we have good equity, but in that time, the property was taken care of pretty well by the tenants. We put some money into it, but we slowly paid it off using rents. We paid the mortgage, and the mortgage just kept going down and down and down. Eventually, the property's paid off, and it finally doubled in value. In Howard County, you're getting really good appreciation. Like, one of the examples I showed in the other video is a house that's for sale right now in the Allview Estates for 545,000. 10 years ago, it was estimated to be worth about 323,000. So it $200,000 in appreciation in 10 years, which that's the Howard County plan. If you own a property in Howard County and you're getting transferred, we should definitely talk about what that looks like for you in 5-10 years from now. If you have somebody like us managing it, taking care of the day-to-day, making sure the property's taken care of, the tenant's taken care of, you're paying the mortgage, paying the taxes, paying the insurance, and then what your mortgage and everything looks like in 5 to 10 years, compared to if you sell that and say you got a $100,000 check, which seems amazing and is a lot of money, and you put that into the market, or you then put that down on your next house and maybe have a smaller house payment. But you compare that to what that's going to do for you financially by keeping this property. And maybe you're not cash flowing again, like we talked about before, but you're getting tax deductions, you're getting write-offs, you're getting appreciation, all these things, plus you're paying off your mortgage. To me, it makes total sense, especially if you have the ability to kind of keep that. And you're also looking maybe how I can create some wealth for my family besides just a 401k or whatever we're doing here. So anyways, thanks for watching. That's why Howard County is to me, it's a great market where Howard County seems to be a lot of owners accidental landlords that decided, hey, let's keep this, see what happens. And now we're helping them with their largest asset, and they're seeing what it can do after 5, 10 years, A, for their bottom line, A, for their wealth generation, creation, that kind of stuff. So thanks for watching. If you have any questions, you can watch other videos, subscribe, reach out. We'd love to talk to you about your property in Howard County and see if we can compare what it looks like today and why we think it's going to be great to rent that property and how it can be a long-term asset for you.